sleeping was one of the predilect sports of Danny. He did his reading, he took some watch, even though we did not keep watches through the night. We were far away from the shipping lanes. We did not have radar, but we did have a radar detector to let us know if a ship with an active radar came within 5 miles of our location. So the crew had quite a bit of lazy time. As you can see, son number 2, Robert, has the weather cloth on so he wouldn't fall off the bunk with the rolling. And the captain had to do his normal duties of preparing the meals 3 squares a day to keep the crew going. We are already in tropical waters, it's warm, so the attire is extremely informal. July 4th, we fire a flare into the air to celebrate the 4th of July, and suddenly all hell broke loose. Flares are coming from everywhere at sea. That was quite a celebration. If you believe this, we also have some lots for sale in Florida, very close to the water, underwater. Actually, this is some filming, some clips that we got from Butcher Gardens when we arrived with the boat in Victoria. And we saw a celebration in Butcher Gardens that we just couldn't resist to splice it in here. Our lonely flare would not have done justice to the celebration for the 4th of July. Well, like always, the day after the party, there is a bit of a hangover. Here we have one of the motley crew. We are cooking a little better now. The winds have increased and we are gobbling up the miles. The log keeps on clicking, and every day we are a little closer to destination number 1, Hilo, Hawaii. As you can see, now we are doing 7 knots, 8 knots steady. The wind is dead at stern and we are showing an apparent wind of 10 knots. So very probably we have about 30 knots of true wind. Sometimes when we're sliding down the big swells, we have 20 footers following us. We accelerated to the point that the knot meter will peg at 10 knots. We don't know if we exceeded that, but our whole speed actually 7 3/4 knots. So whatever we exceeded was just because we were surfing down the big swells. Of course, when we're coming to the trough, the sails will slack a bit, the speed will reduce, and then suddenly we'll catch up the wind again with a big whip slash of the sails, bang, and off we were tracking again. I know the cruising life is tough, but somebody's gotta do it. Better be us, right? Well, the captain was not the only one that showed his culinary expertise. Here we see Danny preparing a special omelette. Do something. What? How fast are we going, Rob? 8 knots. That's not bad for a heavy boat like Vivere, especially the way that she was full of supplies, that the waterline had disappeared prior to our departure. And now a moment of silence while we observe what the chef prepares. You may notice by looking through the windows, this is photographed from outside the starboard window, so we have a lot of reflection there. you can see how the horizon comes up and goes down, and the gimbal stove keeps on moving, and the poor cook is trying to make an omelette. And well, maybe scrambled eggs. This is as close as paradise as you can get. A steady 8 knots, dead downwind, and you can hear the roar of the ocean going by your hull. The wheel untouched. For days on end, we haven't touched the sheet, we haven't adjusted the steering wheel, and the wind vane, nicknamed Elmer, keeps on doing all the work. And we keep on trying to catch that elusive fish that we never get. Periodically, we run a check of the rigging. Sometimes we find something to be fixed, like in this case, there was a pin from the clew that had fallen off, and the boom, it could have come detached from the mast. But preventive maintenance is worth it even underway. What a crazy face. It was a dream to cross an ocean with my 2 sons. I'm glad I was able to do it at that moment in time. Moments like this never come back, never repeat. We didn't have sat-nav. GPS was not even in existence at that time. So we have to do the same thing that all sailors did. Have a stopwatch, have a sextant, find your position off the rolling deck of a sailboat. The video doesn't give justice, doesn't come close to show the size of this following swell and the roaring that you could hear in the hull as we were breaking through the ocean. These scenes are photographed from inside the main cabin, looking out, and we looked on port and starboard sides. And you see, as with each roll, you can see the wake that the bow is creating. The sound is thundering. Whoosh. Constant. Speed 8.5. Apparent wind 17, 8.